Hi, I'm Dustin Urban, and welcome to the Turning Point Summit, which is all about aligning with soul and embracing your purpose in these changing times. I'm excited to welcome my guest today, Itzhak Beery, who is a leading shamanic teacher, healer, speaker, community activist, and author. For over 21 years, Itzhak has bridged the spiritual and practical wisdom his indigenous teachers entrusted in him with a powerful contemporary approach relevant to our stressful and unbalanced modern times. Itzhak teaches internationally and leads groups on healing expeditions to the Andes and the Amazon of Ecuador. He was initiated into the circle of 24 Yachaks by his Quechua teacher in Ecuador and by Amazonian Kanamari Page. He has also trained intensively with other elders from South and North America. He is the founder of the shamanportal.org and co-founder of the New York Shamanic Circle. He's also on the faculty of the Kripalu Center and the New York Open Center, the Shift Network, All Faiths Seminary International, and staff teacher at Omega Institute. He received Ambassador for Peace Award from the Universal Peace Federation and the UN. His work has been featured in the New York Times, films, TV, and numerous webinars. Itzhak, it's an honor to have you. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Yeah, I'm excited to have you because I really feel that a shamanic approach to these questions of purpose and how is the world changing it's how I've come at my life, and I think these are really powerful tools. So I'm excited that you're bringing that angle to this for us. So I'm wondering about kind of if you could share a little bit about what started you on the shamanic path. It sounds like it wasn't exactly what you thought you would end up doing with your life. Maybe it chose you a little more.
Well, no, I did not plan to become a shaman, and I never really knew what it was. I actually started as a painter. I wanted to be Picasso. I mean, that was my life. My life passion is to paint, strong images with messages and discover the world, very much like Picasso did. That didn't work for me so well. Not that I was not talented, but it just probably was not my life purpose. And then I started to do advertising or graphic designer because I was good at an art, and that led me to more of a marketing and advertising. And when I came to New York, I continued to do that, and then I had my own advertising agency in Manhattan here. Mm-hmm. And still, there's healing or shamanism or spirituality was not really part of it until I got to my 40th, and I got to ask the big questions: why I'm here and what is the purpose of my life here. And I went into a few years of a real deep depression because I could not figure out. I won awards. I had a family and children, and it seems everything seems to be exactly where it should be, but just somehow I felt empty inside, and I knew that there is something more to life than just what I do, but I couldn't decide what it was. So I read a book by Hank Wasselman, Spirit Walker. And that gave me a new awareness, or it started to answer some questions that I had about my life. And that led me to a workshop with Michael Horner, and that led me to a trip that I did, a workshop and a trip that I did with John Perkins. And that's how I got into Ecuador, and I started to I went twice to Ecuador, where I met a shaman or Yachak that became my teacher, Jose Joaquin Pineda. But even at that time, I knew that I can I can see. I knew that I can, that I have maybe that gift that I always thought that other people have, but not me. But I never really even thought about doing it as a life mission. That came much later, only because my teacher insisted that I would do healing, not just with him as an apprentice, but also individually. And then once I started to do that, then I realized that maybe it is something that I need to do, and that became more of a passion that I had now. But saying all of that is that the cosmic joke about all of it is that a few years ago, after I was doing it for 15 years or so, I discovered that my great-grandfather, who was in Poland, in a town called Kolna. I was teaching in Poland, and I went to this village to meet that. So in preparation for that, my cousin sent me an article that was written about him, and it turned out that he was a Kabbalistic rabbi and a healer.
Mm.
And
Nice.
and I think that it's kind of important to look at it as in this subject of this webinar, because I have a feeling that all these years he was leading me to where I am today.
Mm.
It wasn't a coincidence that I became a healer and a teacher, and very much in his own footsteps. And to tell you the truth, I was not very happy about it at the very beginning. I thought that I actually made it up myself. I wanted to have more credit for myself. I didn't think that I was a puppet, that I was led by the strings of my great-grandfather to do his work.
Mm.
The interesting part is that I was doing the work that he actually did, which is the work with evil spirit.
Mm.
And he was devoted his life to the fight between the good and evil, and the cosmic fight between the two of them. And he wrote it beautifully about it. And so it was a big surprise for me that although I'm an individual and I have a unique life history, I was also led to do this work by my ancestors. That's what my belief is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So it sounds like the depression that you experienced, you said around 40, it almost sounds to me like it was a way in which your soul was speaking to you and saying, hey, there's something else for you in this life. This isn't it, or this isn't all of it. And do you agree with that idea? And do you see that in clients as well, that symptoms of, say, mental illness actually are a way in which the soul speaks?
Oh, without any doubt, I think that depression is not it's not so bad like most people believe it. It's actually came in the right time for me to reevaluate my life, to see what works for me and what did not work for me. And in many ways, each of us knows what's his soul or her soul is yearning to do. We all know that. We're not aware of it. Maybe we're not. Maybe we don't really know how it's going to look like. But we all know when our soul is satisfied, when the soul is in its element. And really, all our journey is about that. It's about finding out what our sole purpose here on this earth is, and really be in that energy that we are aligned with the purpose of what we came here to do. So when we are not aligned with the sole purpose of our life, or when our life is not aligned with our sole purpose,
Yeah.
that's when we get into depression, and that's where we get into addiction, and that's where we go to all of those things. So once you figure out what is your life purpose on this earth, then there is a new surge of energy and hope and alignment and energy that connects you with the universe.
Yeah. So what did that journey out of depression look like for you? I know that you read that book, you attended a workshop, and then went to the Amazon. So what was it in those actions? Can you speak a little about the process that took place and how your purpose was revealed and how that depression was alleviated?
Well, first of all, that was not the only depression that I had.
Yes, right.
The other depression was when I went to the Amazon and I had this experience during ayahuasca ceremony, but also during the La Limpia ceremonies in the Andes and in the jungle, not just with the ayahuasca, that I realized that the world that we live in is not one-dimensional, that we live in both at the same time with the unseen and the seen world, and that the seen world is really not in control. That what's in control is the unseen world, the world of spirit, or the world of the ancestors that are gathering or helping us to lead us to where we need to be. And that concept that was so strange to me, as it's strange to many people that lives in our Western society that are so disconnected from spirit, that it took me 8 months to figure out that I don't really need to figure it out, that I can just accept that the fact that the spirit world or the unseen world come to teach us constantly in our everyday life. And once I figure out that I cannot really explain that, then I became okay with that, and then I started to go back and flow into my life purpose. I think that when we talk about life purpose, many people think about life purpose as a job, as what do they need to do in their life. But life purpose is a little bit more complex than that. It's like if you've done some marketing, right? So
yeah,
when you go to do marketing, you really have to figure out what is the mission statement for the company or for the organization that you are working with. What is it that the one word or two words that define what the company is about? And I believe that each one of us has a mission statement, a sole purpose. My corporation have a sole purpose too. So the big part of that we need to find out, what is it that our soul, what is a mission statement, a sole purpose here on this earth. Once you find that, then you can then everything is a smooth sail, because you know what works for you, what's best for you. Now, many people don't know how to find it, and that's part of the work that I do, is to help people to find their life purpose, to define. So there's many different ways to do it. My friend Richard Unger, who read palm, and he wrote a beautiful book about that. He found out that in your fingerprints there are some loops and designs, right, of the fingerprints that when read in a way that he discovered, you can find out your life purpose.
Really?
Which is a beautiful system that he devised. we work together on doing workshops together to help people to find out their life purpose. Not that everybody loves to hear what their life purpose is. Sometimes there's not really something that people think that this is there. So, but you know that the embryo at 5 months in the womb receive his fingerprints.
Oh.
And there is a belief, a spiritual belief, that at 5 months, spirit come and enter the baby's body, which lead us to think that the spirit come and choose the mother that we're going to have, or the teachers that we're going to have. And in many ways, those spirits choose the teachers in order for us to develop and to find out what our life purpose would be in our lives. So sometimes it would be about communication. Sometimes it would be about service to others. Sometimes it would be about love. Sometimes it would be about multitasking. Sometimes it will be many different ways that we came here to do.
Mm-hmm.
But our life, my belief is that our life purpose is something that is already ingrained in us from very early age, from the time that we are in the womb, before we are born. And every person we meet on our way on this journey, this person is a teacher to help us define our life purpose, to either pit us against our expectations so we can learn it, or to show us the way. That's how we that's how we choose our teachers. So when we have a life purpose, we also have a life lessons. And the life lessons is all the traumas and all the teachings that we are encountering throughout our life journey.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, when they are encountering the life lessons, the traumas, if they take it as being victims of situations and they don't learn from it, then they will have to repeat it again. And you could see that many of traumas that people experience in early childhood, they are repeated over their lifetime, over and over again, because these people most of the time they don't learn the lesson why these teachings are sent to them. So one way to understand what is your life purpose, in the way I teach it, is to close your eyes and figure out, let's say, 10 traumas that you experience in your life, and write them down. I do that in a shamanic ceremony. I do it in a different way. You know, we do it with stones or other objects. We embody the trauma with another element, and write down the 10 different traumas that reoccurred in your life. And then once you do that, look at all of it and see what is the theme that you discover. What is the theme of all those traumas? These are traumas of love, of the need for love? Nobody loves me. This is a trauma of abandonment. Is it a trauma of losing power? This is a trauma of not able to communicate to others. So if you take that trauma and you reverse it to the other side of it, that is your life purpose.
Reverse it. So if it was a trauma of not being loved, not feeling loved. To flip that, it would be
experience love.
Mm-hmm.
Experience love and surrender.
Mm-hmm.
If this is about power, is that everybody is more powerful than me. I would never be able to find my own power.
Mm-hmm.
So the life purpose is to experience their power. Now, it is not what you do in life. It's the place where you come to do this work. So you can be a healer, and you can be a healer that is seeking love.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can be a healer and you can be a person that is working on his own power. Or you can be come from a place of service to others. So and the same thing as a bus driver or any other, there are bus drivers that are great healers because they are coming from a place of service.
Mm.
And it's the same, in my case, I was a lot of my traumas in the childhood was about communication, because when I was young, one of the women who took care of me in the kibbutz told me that I'm speaking too much, and then God gave us certain amount of words, and if I use them all, I will die early. So I learned to shut down.
Wow.
So for me, my life purpose is about communication. They're sharing message on a big stage.
Yeah.
So once I realized what my life purpose is, it is easy for me to share what I have, the storytelling that I have, without feeling that is something wrong with me, without feeling that I am working from my ego or from any other place. But today I really understand that I'm doing it from real deep understanding of my life purpose.
Yeah.
Sharing mission, sharing visions with other people.
So that's beautiful. And I'm wondering, and it really ties in with an interview I just did, actually, that idea of the gift being really, the gift and the wound being intimately connected. I'm wondering, so if your purpose is about communication and being heard and spreading a message, the thing is that you could spread many messages, right? You could communicate about many things. How was it then that you identified that what you were going to be talking about or communicating about, has now become shamanism and the work that you're doing?
Well, in my case, I have a very strong healing lines in my hand, or my life purpose is sharing healing messages in the world. So that is narrowing down the life purpose.
Yeah.
When I do that, I feel in my elements. When I do that, I feel happy. When I do that, I don't feel that it's work.
Mm. Beautiful.
I really feel like I'm floating in the river, effortless. Mm-hmm. And that's really what happened when you are aligned with your life purpose.
Yes.
Your life is not about struggle. It's really about allowing yourself to flow in the river of mm-hmm. life without white water, without the dams that we're putting ourselves around us.
Yeah,
it's not about conflict, because if you know your life work, then the sailboat is sailing into the ocean.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So there's kind of two components that you were just talking about, that really powerful one of looking at the theme of your traumas, and then what feels effortless. It's like what comes easily, what brings you alive. It's that almost cliche, Joseph Campbell line, follow your bliss, right?
Well, yes, but I think that the difference here with John Campbell is that we can really learn from what we bump our heads on.
Right.
I mean, it's not a coincidence that we choose conflict, certain kind of conflicts.
Mm.
In the same situation, two people would choose differently.
Yeah.
Do we need to see? We need to see what it is that we chose to learn from the conflict that I have with another person or with situations.
Yeah.
And if we learn from it, then we stop being victims. Which is the thing that is very important for all of us to realize that we are not victims. We are really the creators of our own journey, and we bring this on ourselves.
Yeah.
And if we don't like it, we can change it too. No.
Yeah.
So if we learn the lesson, then we can change it.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I really love how it's very practical, what you're saying. And I'm thinking about it for myself. And I know that people watching, it's like, this is very tangible, I want to transition a little to talking about your work in the Amazon. And I'm particularly interested to hear a little about your work with ayahuasca. And what, I guess I'm wondering, maybe you have examples of experiences or visions that you had in that kind of work that, have really influenced your path and came as a revelation or something like that. I would just be curious to hear about, how work with plant medicine can, play a vital role on this kind of a path of inquiry as to, what am I here to do and how can I support the unfolding that we're witnessing right now?
I can't speak for everybody who takes ayahuasca.
Right.
It's a very personal journey. But what I can say is that on my first ayahuasca, which most people remember the first ayahuasca journey, not the number 32 or the number 33.
Right.
Or for some people, it's number 250. But for me, on the first journey, that was in 1997, I had a vision that and in that vision, I made a promise. And I made a promise to Spirit that I would do certain things. And I took it seriously. And in many ways, 20 years later, I'm still working on that promise.
Mm.
And that promise was about strengthening the shamanic community. It was about saving the forest, saving the Amazon, and being activist.
Mm.
And so I do believe that Spirit spoke to me at that time, and they spoke to me because of my life purpose as a person that needs to communicate messages to the large audiences of healing. So I think that this is where it's connect to me with my life purpose.
Yeah.
If you ask me about ayahuasca, I would say that I am wondering how much people are listening to the messages that they receive from ayahuasca. If they are not, if it didn't become a drink of choice, but not as a teacher, but as a way to run away from responsibility for what the ayahuasca or Spirit tell them once they do the journey. So I can't really understand why people would go and do that every other week or every other 2 weeks, or do it for 250 times if they're not really listening to spirit and working on these messages that they receive, then I think that it's pointless. Not only that, but I think that it's also dangerous, not for their health, but it's dangerous for the environment, because today ayahuasca it's being cut as a crop. It's not replenished, and it's misused by the shamans in the Amazon, who are greedy for money, and it's also used for us in the Western world, because we are greedy for spirituality, and we don't really take the time to manifest the images, the messages that ayahuasca is sending us.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it, for ayahuasca, for people to take ayahuasca and have experiences of visions. But I also think that the one thing that is missing in all of it is that people don't take the messages that spirits send them and actually manifest them in their life. I think there are a lot of the shamans or people who call themselves shamans, ayahuasqueros, who are providing the drink. They don't do the work of integration and understanding of the symbolism of what spirit is telling them.
Yeah.
And in many ways, it's a huge loss for the shamanic community, and it's for the shamans themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a really important kind of cautionary note. You know, it's incredible the the explosion in popularity that we're seeing right now with ayahuasca, and it certainly has its shadow side, it seems.
Well, I think that more shamanic teachers really need to come forward and educate people who are not, and it's not the young people's fault that they wanting that medicine.
Yeah.
Because all of us are yearning for something. They are yearning to connect to their soul, and this is an easy way to do that. And I honor that. I don't think that it's bad, but I think that the shamans and the shamanic teachers really need to stress the fact that every drink that you take break down the social economic of the shamans in the Amazon. Because when you bring money to the Amazon in such huge quantities of money, you are destroying the sharing economy of the tribe. All of a sudden, you're creating a group of people who have more money than others, and they don't share it with the community, and they become rich and they become separate, and they already they don't spread the wealth between all of the communities. And they go to, some of them are going to Europe or to the United States, and they come back with amazing amount of money that they bring them back to their villages in the Amazon or in other places, and they have nothing they can do with that, really. And so it create jealousy and envy, and it's break down the roots of the cultures that we are trying to learn from and so value. We ourselves, because of our spiritual greediness, we are destroying them.
Yeah. Gosh, there's a few ways I'd like to go here. I guess, I think I'd love to hear a little about your efforts to protect the jungle, because it sounds like, obviously this industry is it has incredible potential to heal, and there are positive aspects of its spread, but also, it is having an impact on the ecology of the Amazon. It's not the only thing having that impact. Do you want to say a little more about that message that you ran with of protecting the Amazon and the work you're doing around that?
Yeah, so for a few years after that first encounter with spirit, I was wondering, what is my role in it? I thought that I heard that word, help save the Amazon, and I didn't have that money or the time or the tools to collect money, go to the Amazon and buy some trees and protect the land. So what I decided to do for myself is to, that is the most important for us here in the West, is to change the consciousness, to bring awareness to the plight and to the teachings of those people in the Amazon. Mm-hmm. So I believe that through learning the teachings of the people in the Amazon and the Andes, people will change the way they behave here in the Western world, and that would lead to saving the Amazon. So I created a website. It's called shamanportal.org. That is a global hub for all the shamanic community. But it's not just a place where people post their workshops and trips and all of that, but it's also a place where we have shamanic news, and we have different articles by different shamans from all over the world. And then we have different organizations, and people, most of the postings are free except the activities. So the idea was to raise awareness, to grow the shamanic community, to have more people interested in sustainability and in the shamanic teachings of the indigenous world, and that will help encourage people to think about new ways to save the forest. Yeah. So that was my way of doing it. Each person has to find his own way.
Yeah.
So my contribution is about spreading the messages, and so I chose to spread the message. Some people are a lot more practical than that they would go to the Amazon and do different projects. John Perkins for a while did a beautiful project of buying back the forest, paying back to buy. So each person find his own way of doing it.
Right. And
I think that it's important for each one to find out what his soul or what his life purpose is, and to direct it toward the project that he's working on.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm actually wondering, would you, in that vision where you received that message, can you say a little more about what form it came in? Did you actually hear words, or was there actually a visual vision? Or, because I think you don't have to, but I think there's a practical element that I think is interesting of, how do we translate these kind of numinous experiences into manifestation, So I'm just curious.
Oh, I mean, really, from my few first sessions in the Amazon with the Shuar in Ecuador was actually almost like a class. They just like, here, this is class number 1, this is class number 2, this is class number 3. Mm-hmm. And they were really showing me different aspects of the cosmos and how the universe works. Part of it was that message that before I purged, I met that beautiful moth, and that took me on his wings, and we flew over the Amazon, and he took me there so I can see the you know, you have to think about it. That was in the middle of the night. It wasn't during the day, but it was a daylight for me. But in that vision, but I saw all the Amazon and the rivers and the trees and the animals, and he was saying that this is all of that thing is our responsibility, and this is how you need to find ways to protect it and to help it. And then when he took me down, he said, you know, that I needed to promise him that I would do it. Uh,
Mm.
it was very visual and very kinetic. It wasn't just in my. I was actually there, if you can believe me.
I do.
Or
I do.
my consciousness was definitely there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a very very strong, vivid journeys, and they were teaching me about how plants work, um, um, and I met the what we call today the string theory about how the cosmos work,
String
and
theory, you said?
the
String
string
theory?
theory.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. When they basically showed you how the matrix of the world works, and so and it was really more about each person's personal responsibility. That every invisible line or energy line in the universe, when you strike it like a harp, it creates vibration, and that vibration changes the makeup or the structure of the world. So we really need to be very careful in the way we are plucking that energetic strength, and that is with the way we talk, the way we work, the way we say things, the way we act in the world. Everything have impact on other people. It's not like you are acting alone with no effect on other people. We are all connected. We are all moving in the same rhythm of these matrix of energy lines that were invisible to our eyes, but they exist. And they showed me the cosmic music of the universe, and so there was a very specific teachings. They were taking me from one place to the other.
That's really beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's just like so unmistakable, or you know, I'm you know, seeing that moth in my mind's eye, you know, and it's an experience like that is just I don't know, there's something I imagine, you know, people from the West going and having experiences like that, and it just feels like that is so important to get that this is a, you know, that the Amazon, you know, it's like a, I don't know, it's a living, humming being in a way, and to get that so viscerally from such a beautiful vision, you know, it's like that would be hard to ignore. You know, it's not this sense of we should protect the Amazon because that's the right thing to do and whatever, you know. It's like I mean, I feel like that's work that I want to be doing, is helping people to really wake up on a deep level, like feel it in your bones how important this is and how much this is your calling, you know?
Well, I think that part of it is that people learn from their experience. So for me, these teachings that I received through the ayahuasca, it was in every cell of my body.
Exactly.
And so I cannot deny that experience. And I can tell you that one of the things that made me so depressed after I came back was that when I was doing the ceremony, the shaman was working with me. He was doing the Olympia, or the cleansing ceremony, on my body. And as he was working with me, I experienced how the anaconda come into my body and clean all my digestive system and work through all my body. And my body was totally moving and shaking and swirling with all of that, and I let that snake work through me. And then once it came into my throat, this big black cloud came out, and this jaguar came and swallowed it and took it all out.
Wow.
And so my physical body was experiencing what my vision experiencing. And the day after, I spoke to the shaman, and he was laughing because this is exactly what he was doing to, unbeknown to me. That's how he works, how he does the healing. He sent the anaconda into your body to remove it, and then he took the jaguar to swallow the black cloud of negative energy that comes out of it.
Wow.
And so I could not place it in my mental Western mind how that could happen, that I would be experiencing physically, spiritually, and another person is manipulating all of it all at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It really didn't make sense. Yeah, but so that's really the beauty of the shamanic the ayahuasca ceremony, is that if you can actually work with a knowledgeable shaman, I'm not talking about ayahuasquero, not a person who just know how to give you the drink, or to make the drink and give it to you and sing a few songs. Actually, a person who is doing healing, that they know how to take the poison arrows out of it, that they can actually know how to heal that in the spiritual and the physical world together. You can't do that when you have 80 people lying in the same room in New York or San Francisco or other places. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
Because no one shaman can handle 80 people, 30 people, 40 people. That's not possible.
Right.
And I think that people who are doing it, they are misusing it, and they are not doing any favor to themselves too. They just basically, I know that they think that they get some information and some insight. That's true, but they're not getting what a shamanic healing with ayahuasca does.
That's interesting. Yeah, very much a difference in how it can be used.
Yeah.
So we're coming in on the end of our time. I would love, though, I wanted to get to this question about, you talk about the ancient Andes prophecies and the condor and the eagle flying together, the condor of South America and the eagle of North America flying together. And actually, I should read your quote so that my viewers know a little about what you're talking about. You say, "We are on a threshold of an exciting new age, a time to fulfill the ancient Andes prophecy. A new Pachacuti, a 500-year period of time-space correction has begun, one where the condor of the south and the eagle of the north are fated to fly together in the same clear skies. We are all the agents of that change, ushering a time of peace, harmony, equality, cooperation, and the return of the nurturing feminine energies to our troubled society. My indigenous teachers have passed on the traditions of the condor to me, and it is my privilege to share their teachings with the sons and daughters of the eagles." So, yeah, just if you could speak a little to the significance of these times and just sort of, what does it mean, the condor and the eagle together flying together?
Well, the two birds, the two prey birds,
Birds of prey.
They're, well, not so much, because the condor is not a bird of prey.
Oh, right. It's a
so that's the difference, right? So, but they both, the reason why they are is so significant is because both birds fly the highest in the sky. They are using the air to lift them up into the heavens, and in the heavens you have the sun, right? Tata Inti, this Father Sun. And so they are the closest to God you can get. These are the two birds.
Yeah.
The difference is that the eagle build nests. It is a bird of prey. It kills. It's construct. It's territorial. It's everything that is symbolizing the Western civilization.
Interesting.
It's planning. It's a killer.
Yeah.
And it's symbolizing the masculine energies of the Western world. And it's because of the planning, it's symbolizing the mind. So it represents the Western, which is logical, calculated, goes to war for everything they want, territorial, they build, they see a piece of land and they think, oh, I'm going to build a hotel there, right? But contrary to that is the condor, and the condor never kill. It only eat from dead animals. But it's also don't eat all the dead meat. They only eat very small part of it, and they leave to other animals to eat. They share their food.
Wow.
They don't build nests. They lay their eggs in on the ground, and they live in families. They live in communities. So they honor the earth. They never change anything. And what they do is they eat the dead, and they use poop whatever they have, and they fertilize the earth.
Yeah.
So, and that's really the represent the feminine part or the feminine energies of South America, or the heart energy. And in the Inca tradition, they believe that there will be time, and this is our time now, 500 years after the killing of the Atahualpa, the king of the Inca. And they count the period of time in 500 years. So this 500 years is now. It started around 1993, and at that time, the shamans all over the Andes and the Amazon heard the call to start sharing that prophecy that the eagle need to come down to South America, and South America need to come up to the North America to teach each other. All the two cultures will need to teach each other their strength. So the logic to South America, we will teach the logic and know-how to South America, and they will teach us to preserve the earth, to open our hearts, to be more sustainable. There's cross-fertilization of the two cultures, are the eagle and the condor that fly in the same sky. And the idea is that this is for us, it's the return of the feminine energy. And that's very important to us now, especially now with the new administration, that the new administration really represent the eagle. It is something that is already done. It's finished. There's no need in the cosmic view of the world. There's no need for wars, for occupation, for cheating, for stealing, for all of that. That is the mind, the old mindset.
Yeah.
The new revolution in consciousness is the idea is that we need to integrate our mind and our hearts together. Well, what I wanted to say also that the new Pachacuti that we are talking about, the word Pacha is what they call space and time and earth. So it is how all this period is. And Kuti means the correction. So it is a correction of time. It's almost like a shift that our society, that's the conscious revolution, the shift that we are all experiencing now. There's no coincidence that we really looking at now at what's happening here clear eyes, that the veil is taken away from our eyes.
Yeah.
And we actually see through all the lies and the greed and pain and suffering of all these people. And we don't buy the stories that the media and corporations are telling us how to believe, where it used to be like that. So the new Pachacuti is a correction of time. And we are now, all of us, in this time of correction. And that's what it's so significant for all of us to really understand that we are all agents of that change now.
Yes.
So the story of Ipupiara is very important for us because he comes from a tribe called the Uruuwawawu, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly. It's the people of the stars, and they believe that they came from the stars to come and to teach us. They volunteer to come from their stars to come down to the Amazon to teach the humans on this earth how to keep the earth in sustainability, in balance.
Beautiful.
When he was a child, when he was born in 1933, there was like 3,000 people of them, the Uruwawawu. He died about 6 years ago, and he was the last person. There was nothing left of them, and there was nobody to teach their language or to teach their stories and how to preserve the earth. And so that's, I think, that is so important for all of us to understand that those people who are in the Amazon, who many people in our Western culture think that they are uneducated but those are the real teachers to teach us how to keep this earth in balance. And especially now that we are going into Earth Day, it is so important for all of us to understand that the old system that we practice, this old dream that we have about occupation and wars and differences and separation between people, is no longer working. We are not in that game anymore. What we really need to be is to learn how to keep the earth in sustainable way, and how to make sure that we all understand that we are all one and we are all the same, and we are to honor all of us together.
Yes. Yes, I'm just completely with you, Itzhak, and I really, really appreciate this message you're sharing. And what a beautiful idea that they came from the stars to the Amazon to,
the Palladius, yeah.
The Pleiades.
Yes, the Pleiades, yeah.
I've heard many myths about the Pleiades and stories about there being a source of great wisdom. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Well, the next time you go over there, just make sure that you'll find Ipupiara.
Yeah.
My teacher.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you, and we can. I've last time I was in the Amazon, I was 17 and I was kayaking, so I think I'll need to do a different kind of trip now.
Well, I gotta tell you, it's a very important trip to make, and it's the plant medicine is very important to do it with the right person, and it does change people's life. It does bring us back to what's important. And I think that when we understand that what's important is really what our soul is calling us,
Yeah. Well, I can feel in the conversation we're having, how, I've known this, but it's just like so important to me, this piece of helping, well, myself, but others too, to have this visceral experience of connection with the earth. It's like if we don't have that, I don't care about the science, the policy, all of it. We need this deep knowing of our interconnection with the earth and its incredible intelligence to if we're going to actually protect, and create this new future. So thank you for the work that you're doing on that front.
But last year I was taking ayahuasca with the Tachila tribe in Ecuador. It's a different tribe. Not too many people know them, but They are actually came from the Taino from Puerto Rico, and they ran away when the white people came there, and they ran away into South America, and they ended up over there. And so the message that I got from the ayahuasca was quite beautiful. It says that don't talk about the destruction of the earth. Talk about the beauty of the earth. Talk about the beauty of the flowers and the trees and the water, and make people experience that, so they would not want to destroy it. So that was a totally different approach to what we are always talk about in Earth Day, is to not feel that we destroy because we don't have an intimacy with nature. And so if we look at a tree and we can touch it and we can experience this energy and we can talk to it, then we would not cut it so quickly.
Yes, absolutely. That's such a beautiful message. So I want to honor our time here and just let you speak for a moment about the free gift that you're offering my viewers. It has to do with shamanic self-defense, and I'd love to hear a little bit about how that'll benefit people.
Well, in the shamanic tradition, we believe that there are negative forces in the universe, and there are negative forces that are sent by other people or in geographical areas that are inflicted with violence. And this energy, negative energy, penetrates our orb energy, the protective shield of our energy, and that would create sicknesses and take us out of balance. And so these free book that I compiled is techniques that will help you to clear and clean your energy field, to remove negative energies from different parts of your body. And it's very easy things to do. It's not complex. It's using minerals and plants and other meditations and other things like that to keep your energy field clear, so your life will come back into balance.
Beautiful. Nice. Well, that sounds really wonderful, and I hope that all of you viewers, you can check that out by clicking the link below this video on the page hosting this interview. So definitely go check that out. And yeah, Itzhak, for some reason your image is frozen, but I'm still hearing you just fine. Are you there as well?
I'm there. Yep.
Okay. It's been a little bit up and down with the connection today, but I think we're good. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. I've really enjoyed this and really resonated with what you're saying. So yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And I wish everybody a great Earth Day. And we are the change.
Yes. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't wait for anybody else.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Itzhak, and thank you everybody for watching. And it's an honor to have you all, and have a wonderful day. And be sure to look out for the next interview, which will be sent out tomorrow. So blessings, everyone.